Today we're going to be painting with watercolor and fountain pen ink. Let's dive into it. So we're going to need a couple things. I'm using a fountain pen by Lamy, and I'm using green-black ink by Diamine ink. And I'm also starting with an already sketched in sketch. So if you don't know where to start, I've got a couple shorts that talk about drawing these leaves like this, or you can draw something on your own. Now I'm basically just outlining here. I'm not adding a ton of dimension. You can see I add a little bit of shading and areas that will be darker with the fountain pen, because in the end we'll use water to reactivate the ink, and the more ink I put down, the darker that area is going to be. Now we're moving on to the watercolor part of it. It's just a standard brush and water, and if you have fountain pen ink, if you put water on it, it'll reactivate and start to spread around. I like to brush from the edges or from the center in. In this case, I'm sort of positioning the light above the leaves, and so I'm leaving the room for reflections as they bend out and away from the viewer. So I brush from the center outwards or from the edges inwards and try to leave some white spaces sort of in the middle of the arches of the leaves. I'm trying to pay attention to some of the contours of the leaf as well when I use the pen, so some rounded edges to the leaves as they fade away from the viewer. Some of that will shine through when you re-wet the ink with watercolor, so I try to take note of it and use it when I can. I've also looked for areas that should be darker and added a second layer of ink so that I can re-wet it and make it a little bit darker, add some cast shadows, things like that. Moving on to the watercolor part, this is probably the trickiest part, and I probably shouldn't have done it this way because I'm having to paint in between all of the leaves here. And the fact that it's fountain pen ink means that it's just going to keep reactivating when I put water on it. So you'll notice the edges can be tricky to get without reactivating. It can be tough to keep that color consistent. I find it easiest to sort of outline the area and then fill it in, but whatever works for you. And there you have a completed painting with ink. It can actually be a really rewarding medium to use, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you found this video helpful, please hit that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time.